Welcome back, Defenders. Jake here. Yesterday marked the 2-year anniversary of Russia's brutal invasion of Ukraine. 365 times 2 plus 1. Today is the 731st day of Russia's 3-day special military operation. Ukraine vows triumph over Russian darkness on war anniversary, 2 years on into the full-scale war launched against it by Russia. Ukraine, helped by its Western supporters, remains determined to persevere and win. Let me share some clips from some faces you've probably seen here on the channel before. The first video is from Klitschko.
The Russian imperialist war supposed to last 2 days has been going now for 2 years. 2 years of death and destruction. Entire towns have disappeared. Thousands of children have been kidnapped. Torrents of tears cannot wash away the blood that covers all my country. For 2 years we have been fighting to protect our families, to defend freedom. Some call it a miracle. This is no miracle. It's a heroic sacrifice. But we cannot hold out forever. If no more help comes, then Ukraine will fall. And then all the rest of Europe will fall in internal demise. We give you our lives to defend your way of life. Continue to give us your attention, your help, and your weapons to shorten this autocracy so that dictatorship fails and democracy wins in the end. Slava Ukraini!
Glory to the heroes. The next clip I want to share is from journalist Maria Avdiivka. Here's what she has to say.
This is Maria Avdiivka from Kiev, Ukraine. This is a very grim day today. 2 years ago, Russia invaded. Since that time, every day, every hour, every minute, Ukraine is fighting for its freedom and independence. This war has changed everything. It changed the life of every Ukrainian, and it changed the world. Now Russia wants to break the most important. It wants to break our unity. Let's not give Russia this chance. Let's stay united. Only united can we win in this war. Stand with Ukraine, and thank you for your continuous support. Slava Ukraini!
Stand united, stand with Ukraine. And here's a picture from a Ukrainian member of parliament, Alexei Goncharenko. And this is Ukraine's parliament building on the 2nd-year anniversary of Russia's invasion. The government still stands. The state of Ukraine is still free. Not all their territory and not all their people are free. But Ukraine is going to win this war. So let's get to the headlines from the last 2 days. And 2 nights ago, another bad night for Russia's aerospace forces as another A-50 goes down. Ukraine's military intelligence and air force brought down another $350 million plane. This is Russia's most important aircraft, and they've now lost 2 in 2 months. And last time the A-50 was shot down over the Sea of Azov, there weren't as many pictures or videos. Russia pulled the plane back. It was flying over Russian territory, thinking it was safe and out of range. So this time when the plane went down, there were lots of people filming and taking pictures of the crash. This is an incredible video. I'll link it down below. It's 2 minutes. And the A-50 knew that there were 2 missiles that had locked on it and were incoming. So the plane was firing off flares, hoping to divert the missiles. I think one of the missiles was intercepted by a flare, but the other missile hit the plane, and this A-50 went down to the ground hard. I'll link this video down below if you want to see it. It's incredible. But let me share a small clip of debris from the A-50 found by local Russians.
Вот, смотрите, это хутор Борис труда. Хутор Борис труда. Это крылья его, блядь. Какой крылья, блядь, смотри, внутри пустой. Видишь? Вот. Название его.
I believe this part of the plane could be part of the tail section. And this occurred 220 kilometers from Ukrainian-controlled territory. The question is, how did Ukraine do this? It wasn't a Patriot missile. Those have a range of about 150 kilometers. The last time an A-50 was shot down was closer to the city of Mariupol. Russia pulled the plane back to protect it. And somehow Ukraine still was able to bring down this plane. Now, Russian military bloggers are going to say once again this was friendly fire. They shot down their own plane. Russia believes that claiming incompetence is preferable than admitting that Ukraine still has these military capabilities. If Ukraine has these military capabilities, then no Russian pilot is safe. This would spread panic. But if a rogue operator is incompetent and they killed their own people, I don't know why, but to the Russians, they think that's a better story to tell their military. The alternative theory is that Ukraine has modified S-200 missiles from the 1960s, obviously upgrading them with better guidance chips and a longer range. I don't know what they're doing. But yes, they now have a capability in which they can strike into Russian territory with a pretty good range, probably close to 300 kilometers. And many people are curious about how many remaining operational A-50s Russia has. They only ever built about 10 of these planes. They sold some of them to other countries like India. It was estimated that 2 years ago they had maybe 4 or 5 operational. 2 have now been shot down. 1 was damaged on the landing strip in Belarus. So potentially for all of Russia's territory, you think about the Arctic, you think about the Baltic, the Pacific, China. Russia only has 1 or 2 of these planes. But how many experienced and skilled crews for the A-50 does Russia now have? They just lost 2 entire crews in the last 2 months. Military bloggers are saying that 10 bodies from the A-50 crew were recovered at the crash site. And I guarantee you a general was on board this plane. Probably a colonel as well. Of the 10-person crew, 8 were probably officers. So Russia keeps taking horrendous losses. Does it matter? To the Russian people, I guess not. And Budanov put out this video this morning. I'll link it down below. Unfortunately, no one subtitled it yet. But here's the quote. I do not recommend the civilian population to use the Crimean Bridge. Given that Putin's re-election comes up next month, I think Ukraine really wants to bring this bridge down prior to his election. So if they've got missiles that can shoot down a plane 250 kilometers over Russian territory, then yes, they might have beefed up some missiles to get to the Kerch Strait Bridge. I think we're going to know in the next month if this is going to happen. What else is going on? Ukrainian drones strike Russia's metallurgic plants, flames ablaze. A Ukrainian security services drone attack on what Russia bills as the 17th largest iron and steelworks plant in the world will have a huge impact on Moscow's weapon production. So there is a video online and it looks very apocalyptic. What Ukraine did is they used drones to target the installation's cooling system for the untreated coke oven gas. The damage to the cooling system of this plant will probably lead to the halting of all of this plant's operations. If they can't cool the ovens, I don't know what to call it, but yeah, uncontrolled fires everywhere across this plant as the cooling system was knocked out. And this plant obviously was producing steel for the Russian military. This is according to Ukraine's military intelligence, so this factory is a valid military target. And given the precision of these kamikaze drones, they know exactly where to strike. I can show you on the map where this is. Here's the city of Kharkiv. We can zoom into the Russian town of Lipetsk. And the entire southern part of this city is the steel plant. It's just absolutely massive. You can see it here on satellite images. We can even zoom in. Hopefully this plant is taken offline for a while, and this will slow down the Russian military. From bad to worse, Russia loses another fighter bomber. The loss of yet another Su-34 on Friday evening was almost overlooked because the media focus on the loss of the A-50. Losing a $350 million plane is a big deal, but every time they shoot down one of these fighter bombers, usually the pilot is lost as well. Russia is hemorrhaging experienced pilots. You can always build more aircraft. Potentially that could be done quickly. But getting an experienced and capable pilot, this is what is hurting the Russians the most. So this Su-34 that went down in the Genichesk region, there is a video from a local resident filming it. Yep, it's a fireball. I don't think anyone survived. The clip is 1.5 minutes. I'll link it down below. So to recap, on the 17th, the Russian Air Force lost 3 planes, 1 on the 18th, 2 on the 19th, 1 on the 21st, and then 3 on the 23rd. The A-50 wasn't from a Patriot launcher, but the rest of these probably was from a Patriot launcher. Russia does eventually learn, but my God, do they learn pretty damn slow. Good for Ukraine. Arrests at Moscow protest by wives of soldiers fighting in Ukraine. A rare protest in Moscow by military wives that called for their husbands' return from Ukraine has led to the arrest of 4 people, including reporters. So I'll share this clip just to once again remind everyone that Russia is an absolute fascist state.
Почему вы его задерживаете? Отпустите его, почему вы его задерживаете?
So Russia mobilized 300,000 men in September of 2022, and those men have not been rotated out of the war zone. So their wives, their mothers, their families are very upset, and I do think Putin has a plan to mobilize even more people and then get some rotations going, but he's waiting until after his election next month. Will these protests continue? Will the protests get worse if additional Russian men are mobilized? I don't know. But this man right here made the mistake of taking pictures and reporting what was happening, so he got picked up by the police. Ukrainian crops damaged again by Polish rail crossing. The spilled cargo at a Polish rail station this week was the 3rd recent incident involving trains carrying Ukrainian agricultural products. I'm getting furious with Poland. I feel like I've been reasonable trying to understand their position and their concern, but there's no justification for, in my opinion, food terrorism. Sabotaging trucks or rail cars and destroying food. Ukrainian farmers risked their lives to harvest this. This was corn being shipped. But this is a crime. And Poland's government is doing nothing about it. I understand there's talks in the works, but these border blockades have been going on for almost half a year now. Poland keeps making excuses, and my tolerance for this is pretty much exhausted. So anyone watching this, anyone having anything to do with the Polish government, you're destroying your standing in the world. You're destroying your goodwill reputation that you built for all the wonderful things you've done to support Ukraine by allowing these terrorists to destroy agricultural products at the border. Biden slapped sanctions on 500 targets involved in Russia's war machine. President Biden met with the wife and daughter of killed dissident Alexei Navalny and announced 500 additional targets for sanctions. We all know this by now. You sanction one individual or one company, it just shifts to a different individual or a different shell company. Slows things down, makes things more expensive. Sanctions still do have an impact, but we can tell that Russia finds ways around them. Realistically, this war is only going to end once Russia goes bankrupt. Let's get to the good news for Ukraine. The United Kingdom has pledged £245 million to enhance Ukraine's artillery ammunition reserves within the next year. The UK has already pledged over £8.8 billion or £7 billion since the war began. Thank you so much to all my amazing Brit viewers out there. This is a great story. Howard Buffett, the son of American billionaire Warren Buffett, has promised that his foundation will donate an additional $300 million in humanitarian aid to Ukraine this year. The Howard Buffett Foundation has already donated $500 million to Ukraine over the last 2 years, and they're doing another $300 million this year. For a private philanthropist, I don't know if anyone has beaten the Buffett Foundation, so thank you so much to the Buffett family. Because this was the 2-year anniversary, there are lots of pictures and videos of people who support Ukraine gathering in the cold around the world. Let me just share a couple of these pictures with you. This is Stockholm, Sweden. This is Denver, Colorado. Here we've got Montreal, Canada. This is Barcelona, Spain. Here's the march in Washington, D.C. There was a huge gathering as people are trying to put pressure on Congress to schedule a vote. Here's Vienna. This is in Finland. They raised a very large flag. Here's a video from Berlin, Germany. Massive turnout in Amsterdam, the Netherlands. And this is Athens, Greece. I didn't get them all, but obviously in democracies around the world, countries that support Ukraine, thank you to the millions of people who participated, who show their support for Ukraine, and let their governments know it's the right thing to do to support Ukraine. I had to pick a clip, so I'll pick this clip from the London gathering. These are people supporting Ukraine singing the national anthem. The free world stands with Ukraine. Since we got time, I'm going to share one more clip from Richard Woodruff. He's a British volunteer in Ukraine. And for those of you who aren't on Twitter or other social media accounts in which NAFO is a thing, it's these cartoon dogs that people take on as their avatar in order to support Ukraine. It's fun. And a lot of these NAFO groups fundraise for vehicles. Because soft vehicles are constantly being destroyed by the Russians, there's always a need for more. So frequently people online are fundraising in order to purchase vehicles to send to Ukraine. And whenever a NAFO unit does it, they usually decorate the vehicles with these cartoon dogs. So here's Richard Woodruff giving a tour of one of these vehicles.
Soon, Ernest and I are going to have the largest collection of Fella vehicles in all of Ukraine. This is the latest vehicle, a medevac for the front. Look at all these beautiful Fellas, the flashing lights. Turn around, look at all this. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. And all decked out inside and ready to go off to the front. Just want to say a massive duże dziękuję not only to Twitter but to Ernest as always for organising all of this. He speaks to all the guys, gets it sprayed, finds the cars, and yeah, makes sure everything is looking beautiful and ready. You can see the Medivac strollers and everything here. Yep, good Jiminy. Oh, cool. So when the guys are getting evacuated, they can look up here and say, what the hell is this? Happy military laying there looking at us. Okay, seriously, duże dziękuję. Thank you so much, guys. You are incredible. Okay.
Разом до перемоги!
Razem do peremogli. Slava Ukraini. Heroam slava.
NAFO stands for the North Atlantic Fellas Organization, and I'll be honest, when NAFO first went viral, I didn't think it would last. But here we are 2 years into this war, and thousands of people have taken on these cartoon dog avatars. So, if that was something you ever thought about doing, if you want to join NAFO, they're still accepting people. You can go on social media and pick your dog avatar and continue to support Ukraine. It's incredible watching everything that they've accomplished as this group. That's all for this update video. Glory to Ukraine, glory to the heroes. If you found this video informative, give me a thumbs up. Best way to support the channel. Comments and questions, let me know down below. I love hearing from you guys. Till the next video, keep defending the truth, keep defending democracy.